Happy holidays from the DC Defenders.
What's going on, Defenders family? My name is Andre Mintz.
It's linebacker Jamal Brooks for your DC Defenders.
Happy holidays, Defenders family. I'm Jacob Panashuk, and I play defensive end for your Defenders.
This is Bradley Moore here, tight end for your DC Defenders. Hope you guys enjoy the holidays surrounded by loved ones and family.
We are all looking forward to the season, and we cannot wait for you guys to pack out Audi Field.
We need you there, and we need you loud, DC. Let's go.
Let's defend the DMV. Let's do it.
Respect all, fear no one. Defend DC.
What is up, my friends, and welcome to another edition of the XFL Weekend Review. I'm your host, Mark Perry, editor of XFL News Hub, your alt football media guru. And on this week's show, Jordan Ta'amu spotted in Arlington, multiple XFL draftees signed with the USFL. We'll get into that. Plus, we have video from our DC Defenders event that was last Thursday at Walters. So we have all that and actually have a camera now. And it's funny because I tried to work on this thing all weekend long and it didn't work. And then I uninstalled, reinstalled, and then I just, and it's working now. So I had a way around it. But yeah, that was just like Saturday. I spent a couple hours. So the camera's working. Hopefully the audio, everything sounds good. I still might have to tweak some things because I was messing around with the settings. So we'll have to see how that goes. But let me know how things are in the chat, if things are looking okay. But let's see. So for this week's show, we have a lot to get to. This is the show before Christmas, little deal there, Christmas. I plan on doing a live show on Monday, the day after Christmas. I don't see why I wouldn't. But so that's kind of out there as well. So we got the DC Defenders event and so much more. So how do you be part of the show? You can email us at podcast@XFL News Hub with your thoughts, or record an MP3 or video on your phone. We'll play it on next week's show. Leave a voicemail, 888-430-7692, extension 3. You can do that. Also, we appreciate if you leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on the show. Always appreciate give us a star, give us that 5-star review, and leave us a message there. We'll read it on the show. Thank you so much. We're on anywhere you can get your podcasts: Stitcher, Audible, Player FM, Spotify, Google Podcasts, you name it. We are 60 days, my friends, 60 days from XFL kickoff. So early January 2023, XFL supplemental draft. I've heard some coaches talk about getting there on the 3rd. I've heard some coaches getting there on the 4th in Arlington. We haven't gotten an official kind of word yet, but I have a feeling that the supplemental draft will take place before that. Then January 9th, camp begins, and the season kicks off in 60 days and February 18th, 2023. Crazy, huh? That it's actually right around the corner. Crazy that Christmas is right around the corner. Crazy that, this is going to be insane because we're going to have the NFL, which there was a bunch of crazy games this past week. Then we're going to have the NFL, right into the XFL, USFL, then Canadian Football League, and fan control football, indoor football league, all sorts of stuff. So this is kind of like our slow season, really, which is crazy to think about. Really from November, December, and then maybe starting in January, like this is kind of like our slow season. And then things are going to ramp up pretty quickly, and you guys are going to be along for the ride. So we got the DC Defenders event video, which is really cool. I'll talk about that. We'll do that after the break. And then we'll get to your social media stuff. We got some interesting things from some people from the XFL. They did an interview. We'll get into that. Erin Molman, I think her name is, did an interview a couple days ago or recently. We've got, I tried to pull the audio from it, but she did make 2 things. I posted them on social media. We'll talk about what she said. And we'll get to your social media stuff. So what's up, everybody in the chat room? Thanks for checking in. We've got Damon and we've got Kenna. Thank you. All right, the stream is now healthy. It took like 9 minutes for it to get. Oh, no, it's back. I thought I fixed this. The current keyframe. But we'll get into that. We'll get into what the Vipers are doing. All sorts of fun stuff. So make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. So we do this all the time. So if you like football, then like and subscribe to this channel. Let's get 60 likes. Hit that notification bell to get alerted when news breaks, as well as when podcasts and when we have new content up there. So without further, plus we'll talk about alt football on Reddit. We got News Hub Fantasy if you want to play. Leagues are forming now. That site's actually starting to pick up some steam. And we asked the question of the week, do you plan on going to any XFL events in your area? So chat room or Facebook, let us know what you think you plan on, or have you been to any? What was your experience about going to that? I'll get into my experience here in just a little bit, but first we'll get into some news. So without further ado, folks, and I'm still getting an error there. Why am I getting an error? It should be okay. I don't understand why. Maybe it'll just take time to catch up. So without further ado, folks, let's just get into the week that was the XFL. Says Jordan Ta'amu, Battlehawks QB, was spotted this past week in Arlington with Jordan Palmer. So days after the announcement that De'Ara King will be joining my DC Defenders, and Ben Kurt announced that he would not be joining the Houston Roughnecks, another quarterback was thrust into the XFL spotlight. Jordan Ta'amu, current quarterback of the Memphis Showboats, formerly the Tampa Bay Bandits, was seen in Arlington training with XFL quarterbacks, despite not being listed on the workout list posted by the XFL Media Relations. Why? Because he's still kind of under contract until we'll get into that. As many of you know, Ta'amu was part of XFL 2.0 regime, becoming a fan favorite of the St. Louis Battlehawks in 2020. So names that took part in Jordan Palmer's, he had 2 days, but in this particular one, Kevin Anderson, Jack Cohen, Ben DiNucci, Mitch the Kid from Fan Control Football, Brian Lurky, Luis Perez, Reed Stennett, Kyle Sloter, of course, from the USFL, and Nick Teano were all there at this quarterback camp. So even though his own social media, Ta'amu posted via his Instagram of him taking the field in Arlington with the above-mentioned XFL quarterbacks. Ta'amu has been linked with the XFL since the announcement of the draft and seems to be waiting for the coveted expiration of his USFL contract to be assigned to an XFL team. For many fans of the 2020 XFL season, Ta'amu was a fixture and a top 3 QB in the league, earning himself a little bit of a cult following in the alt football space. For Ta'amu, it appears that the return to the XFL is inevitable. The former Ole Miss star was absent from the announcement of the Showboats returning to Memphis, where Brady White was announced as the starting quarterback for 2023. They just said he was the quarterback. They didn't really say he was the starting quarterback. But yes, he was the one that was there. He does have connections to Memphis, so that might have been why, too. Whatever. Between the press release and Ta'amu's involvement in Jordan Palmer's workout, it appears that both parties are beginning to move on from each other. Ta'amu is no stranger to traveling, as the 25-year-old has already been a part of 7 teams over 3 leagues since becoming an undrafted free agent in the 2019 NFL Draft. Most recently, Ta'amu led the USFL in passing yards and touchdowns, totaling 3,065 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 15 starts for the Battlehawks and Bandits during his spring league career. Ta'amu isn't the only former USFL player that was in Texas. Brian Scott also posted on his Instagram that he was flying into Dallas. However, no pictures were seen of him at the workout. Scott has been rumored of joining the Vipers, however, waiting for his contract termination like Ta'amu on December 31st. So we will find out then. So with the supplemental draft for the XFL coming up in about 2 weeks, it's extremely reasonable to think that Ta'amu and Scott will be joining XFL teams with quarterback play always so crucial. The addition of proven spring league players like Scott and Ta'amu creates stability for the third iteration of the league. Regardless, we as fans of all leagues should be extremely grateful to continue to see talents like Jordan Ta'amu and Brian Scott continue their careers come this spring. So where do you think Jordan Ta'amu is going to land? I have no knowledge whatsoever. And trust me, I've asked around. I am going to throw out there, I wonder if Ta'amu is coming to the DC Defenders. He's not going to, I think the Battlehawks have a full staff there's a lot of the teams already have a full roster. I do know that the DC Defenders are only taking 3 quarterbacks. They're not going to take 4 like some other teams are. I do know that for a fact because I asked the coach. And so that's what he said. So, could Tamu join DC Defenders? Let us know what you think in the comments. Where do you think he is going to land? Or maybe he just goes back to the USFL. He was just getting some practice. We'll just have to wait and find out in January. So, all football in review. Our man Pat Ruffino always comes up with these weekly kind of review of what's going on. Talks about the Heineke and Donald Parham, like other guys in playing, former XFL guys playing in the NFL. But one of the things is that he had was about some XFL draftees on the move. And this is the part where I thought you guys would be interested. So former Louisville wide receiver and tight end Jalen Smith is joining the Seattle Seahawks practice squad. Smith was drafted by the St. Louis Battlehawks in November. Smith is a hybrid wide receiver tight end who has bounced around the NFL and CFL since becoming an undrafted free agent in 2019. The Seahawks are now the third NFL team Smith has joined in his career. So that's one guy. Wide receiver Rico Gafford is opting to sign with the Birmingham Stallions over the San Antonio Brahmas. Gafford has seen time at cornerback and wide receiver since becoming undrafted free agent in 2018 out of Wyoming. Gafford has been with 6 NFL teams and recorded 2 receptions for 66 yards and 1 touchdown in his NFL career. So we're seeing now that the new CBA for the USFL is completed, and it's looking much favorable than last year's and even comparable to the XFL. Guys now can choose. Do they want to play in Birmingham or do they want to play with the Brahmas? It's kind of now everything is kind of up in the air. Now, defensive back TJ Green is also joining the Birmingham Stallions as well. Green was selected in the 10th round of the defensive backs phase of the XFL draft by the Arlington Renegades. Green has been with 6 NFL teams and spent a month with the Saskatchewan Roughriders in 2022. Green, a former second-round pick in the 2016, has totaled 103 tackles and 40 games in the NFL. Also, for you St. Louis Battlehawks fans, former Salt Lake Stallion and St. Louis Battlehawk wide receiver is also joining the USFL. DeMornay Pearsonell, a fan favorite for the St. Louis Battlehawks, is signed by the New Jersey Generals after spending 2022 out of football. Pearsonell joins his 5th pro football league and his 7th team since becoming an undrafted free agent in 2018. Though he's never recorded a reception in the NFL or CFL, Pearsonell appeared in 13 AAF and XFL games in his pro career, totaling 59 receptions, 36 in the AAF, 23 in XFL for 625 yards, 414 in the AAF, 209 in the XFL in his pro career. So with lots of guys moving, we're going to see more of this. Usually the USFL puts out the players that they signed on Wednesdays. It's going to be real interesting to see over the next 2 weeks as we get closer to December 31st, because the XFL players have until, I believe it's December 26th, to sign their contracts. Otherwise, their spots will be open in the supplemental draft. So there's going to be a lot of player movement out there, so stay tuned to XFL News Hub for all the latest details as we get closer to the XFL supplemental draft and kickoff. So the XFL did some hiring this past week, at least hiring announcements. First up, DC Defenders hired Lance Wesson as Vice President of Business and Events. Elevating prior to joining the team, Wesson held prominent roles with major brands across the sports and entertainment industry. Most recently, he served as Director of Franchise Partnership Sales at Monumental Sports and Entertainment, where he was responsible for securing sponsorship deals for the organization's 5 sports franchises: Capitals, Mystics, City Go-Go, the NBA G League, the Wizards District Gaming, NB2K League. Very cool. Prior to that, served as a general manager at Learfield IMG College Property in the University of Texas, and played at other spots, directed event operations for several other brands, including the NBA's Hall of Fame and Detroit Pistons. So he is on board. DeAndre Phillips named Director of Team Communications and Media Relations. Phillips served as Director of Media Relations for the Wizards from 2016 to 2021, returns to D.C. after spending the past year as Vice President of Communications at IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. Clearly, we had some connections there with the XFL having one of its practice events there. Charles Johnson, he's hired as Vice President of Business and Events for Arlington Renegades. San Antonio native, more than 15 years of experience in professional and college athletics, extensive expertise in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Spent the last 2 seasons as vice president of corporate partnerships for the Seattle Mariners, where he's in charge and leading all the corporate partnerships initiatives. Prior to his role with the Mariners, served as senior vice president of corporate partnerships for the Dallas Wings, WNBA, Panther City Lacrosse Club, NLL, and manager of corporate partnerships for the Dallas Cowboys. Began his career in 2006 an inside sales rep for the Texas Rangers, moved on to the Cowboys before joining the Yankees. Was director of ticket sales for the 76ers, so a lot of background there. Matt Milan joins the Renegades as their director of communications. He's been there for a while. Spent 6 seasons with the Texas Rangers, ending his tenure as assistant director of baseball information after originally joining the club as an intern. In 2017, graduated from Elon University, competed internships with the Carolina Hurricanes, U.S. Baseball, Elon University Athletics. So he is a Chicago area native located into Texas. Also, Brandon Williams, vice president of St. Louis Battlehawks, appointed St. Louis native and former NFL wide receiver Brandon Williams as the vice president of business and event operations for the Battlehawks. Williams, 38, becomes the youngest sports executive in the region. He will oversee the team's business performance and activation to elevate awareness, fan drive, community. We all know there. Recent position with the Anheuser-Busch, Williams was in innovations marketing, where he worked as an internal consultant, leading a cross-functional team with key stakeholders in logistics, supply, graphics, legal, procurement, and brewery operations within Anheuser-Busch. They do have a gluten-free beer, by the way. Brand represented 100 millions in sales revenue. A 2-time second-team All-State selection in football for Hazelwood East. Williams continued his education at the University of Wisconsin. Among his accolades, Williams set the freshman record with 52 receptions, a school mark of 32 kickoff returns for 670 yards, ended his career with most catches, 202, and second in all-purpose yards, 5,852 in Badger history. Drafted by the San Francisco in the 3rd round of the 2006 NFL Draft, played 2 seasons for the Niners before signing with the then St. Louis Rams, finishing his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then during that, he worked as a certified financial planner and published Millionaire Mindset, 7 Principles Athletes Need for Financial Freedom, before earning his MBA at Linwood University. Very cool there. Brian Stoll returns. He's with the Battlehawks. He returned in August. He was worked in St. Louis sports media, reporter, writer, graduate from Fort Zumwalt North High School, bachelor's degree from Truman State University. He worked with the Battlehawks last go round, so it's good to see him back. We're getting a mixture of old and new guys, which I think is great, and I think it's a testament to the league that people want to come back and work in the XFL. And finally, Catherine Schultz was hired as business and events person for the Houston Roughnecks. Blah, blah, blah. 20 years of sports entertainment and community engagement, leadership experience. Most recently served as vice president of the sports business operations productions with startup Tenton Ridge LLC, a brand devoted to the iconic American Western way of life. Okay, and Western sports. In that role, she provided leadership oversight, strategic vision, and management for all properties and business within the Tenton Ridge Sports Division. Prior to that, 18 years with the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, serving as managing director of sports and event presentation, built a strong and collaborative teams, community outreach, et cetera, has a bachelor's degree in agriculture leadership and development from Texas A&M University. That's interesting. Could you imagine, going to school for agricultural leadership? Hey, I've seen some stuff out. I mean, I'm from New York, so that's all weird to me. That's all. But that's awesome. And then finally, Brittany Rader joins the Roughnecks as team communications, media relations. 15 years of experience. Again, working with the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, responsible for managing Rodeo's media relations. Guys, because it was a big thing. Joins as director of team communications. Joining the Rodeo, served as some other places, bank sponsorship, Houston Dash. Bachelor's degree in journalism from Texas Tech University, and proud Red Raider. So there you go, 4 people hired. This is the only 4 that I've heard of so far. Did a lot of digging to get some of these, And so there's still 4 teams to go. The XFL is hiring people, weekly. That new people are coming on board as they ramp up, because we're 60 days from kickoff, and we are not even less than that when it comes to everybody meeting in Arlington to get things going. So the XFL is ramping up very, very quickly. No shocker here. ZOA is the official energy drink of the XFL. Are you surprised? The XFL announced a partnership with ZOA Energy, the delicious, better for your energy drink. Established ZOA. I do like ZOA. I'm not going to lie. And I do drink half a can. I love the little cans of it. That's other stuff is too much. Exclusive energy drink of the XFL. The XFL's much anticipated return begins February 18th with ZOA as the presenting sponsor for the kickoff weekend and opening day games across the U.S. And this is an interesting thing because it puts it in a spot to kind of like keep it warm, see how it does. They can go and tell other brands, hey, try this. This is what we did, and it worked really well. So, why don't you try it kind of thing. So that's good there. A bunch of quotes. Couldn't be more excited. Throughout the season, ZOA and the XFL will roll out curated fan-first experiences and activations both in and out of the stadiums. From pregame tailgates, sweet, and fan fests to branded giveaways, tastings, and engaging promotions. Loyal fans will have access to exclusive ticket offers for all home games. Further, every end zone in each stadium will be transformed into the official ZOA Energy Fan Zone, where the most spirited fans will be honored as the ZOA Energy Fan of the House. Cool. I think I like all this. As part of the partnership, ZOA Plus pre-workout supplement will be sponsoring the XFL Weight Room, capturing content that provides fans across the country with a sneak peek into the players' performance and training at the XFL's hub in Arlington. Interesting. Intentionally crafted to prepare the body and mind for greatness, ZOA Plus pre-workout supplement is designed for those who want to unleash their full potential. I'm going to have to try that out. Launched in 2021, ZOA is the fastest growing health-minded energy drink brand in the U.S. market, cuts through the noise of the industry. One clear focus, better for you energy that gets you where you want to be, designed with natural caffeine for energy. Each 12-ounce can delivers vitamins, electrolytes, and amino acids for sustained energy with immune system support. So no surprise there that ZOA Energy is part of the XFL, kind of warming things up for everybody else to come in. And it'll be really fun to see what this is kind of some of the creative things that they can do. I hate the word synergy, but that their brands can cross over. Really, I just hope that this lays the groundwork for, non-rock brands and non-Danny Garcia brands to be able to get in the space. This is kind of like, hey, this is what it was like. Do you want to pay it too? You got to remember too, the economy is kind of a little meh going into 2023. It's not going to be rocking and rolling. So this also is a way for, to keep some money within the family. And we'll see how this first and second quarter of 2023 is. But the economy is not doing great. So, having to be able to pull a ZOA energy drink in to the fold, I think is a good thing for the league. All right, we'll take a commercial break and we'll be right back with more stuff right after this. Stay tuned, my friends.
What's up, XFL Army? If you're a fan of the XFL News Hub and you have a telephone, which I know all of you do because you're sitting there playing on your phones all the time, then why not download the XFL News Hub app? That's right, it's on iTunes. It's on Android. We have an Android version and an iPhone version of the XFL News Hub app. So what do you get? You get the latest news from XFL News Hub, the premier source of XFL news in the universe. Plus, you get push notifications when we have breaking news. You will be the first to know. You can leave a comment on some of the news right from your phone. Plus, you get this podcast on your phone as well. Remember, you can leave us reviews on the Google Play Store or iTunes. It links to other social media, our other social media accounts, and so much more. Be in the know. I know you're on your phones. People are on their phones all the time. They never get off their phones. So why not just download the XFL News Hub app on your Android or iPhone today? All you need to do is go to the Google Play Store or iTunes and just type in XFL News Hub. That's XFL News Hub. Download our app on your phone today.
There we go. We are back, my friends. Still trying to fix this keyframe thing. I think I might have fixed it now. I think I might have fixed it. We'll see. All right, my friends. So I had the opportunity to head over to DC Walters, right across the street from Nationals Park. Took my wife down there. We went to the DC Defenders event this past Thursday, brought our canned goods, got to meet a bunch of the fans, got to meet you guys out there. I should have interacted more with you guys. I did not. I have learned my lesson. It was just kind of this is the first time I'd been in one of these events, in 2 years. So, but it was a lot of good time. I, got to meet people from the team, got to meet the players, got to meet the staff. So without further ado, let's check it out. What's up, XFL Army? We're about to head out to DC, Walters in DC, to go to the holiday meetup event, which is funny for me because this is the first time I've actually been to a DC Defenders event since what happened and everything shut down. So this is actually a really cool moment because it's very rare that something goes bankrupt and then returns. Very, very rare. And a lot of people thought it was going to come back, but it's back thanks to The Rock, Danny Garcia, and Redbird Capital. So I get to meet everybody in person tonight. So I'm super excited about it. And it's rainy and dreary in Maryland and DC, but we'll make the trek. It is so worth it to finally get back to a DC Defenders event and hang out with my crew, the DC Defenders crew. America's team. Remember, America's team. Let's check it out. All right, that's a wrap. We are now walking back to the car. I was at Walters. Great XFL event. Met a lot of fans. A lot of people involved with the XFL. Players were great, friendly, walking around, hanging out. People were getting autographs. And just a great event. I mean, people are just excited about the XFL. Were you excited?
Yes.
Oh, and she won something.
I did. I won a t-shirt.
She won a t-shirt. It's in the bag. So we're going away with food, and now we got to head back out of DC all the way back into the different parts of Maryland. And but it was a great event, and we're looking forward to more of them. And I'm just telling you, people are fired up about the XFL. There's a lot more people at this event than they did have at the first event that they had just a month or so ago. So it was a good time. All right. Again, thank you to the XFL staff. They were fantastic. Players were fantastic. They were very friendly. Went around, was talking to everybody. Got to ask questions. Met fans that didn't know who I was. Met fans who did know who I was. And it was just a lot of fun. And I can't wait for the next events. They're going to be ramping up more events as the season builds up. So stay tuned. All of the locations are planning on doing things. And it was a lot of fun. To appreciate everybody there. It was just top notch, a lot of fun. Walters is a great spot. That is the official hangout. So you go to a DC Defenders game. What you're going to do is you're going to make your way to Walters if you can find parking. And I was able to find parking. And I was freaking out about the parking too, because I couldn't get it to work. And then it did work, and I don't know. And so, but we had a crazy week. Me and my wife, we were, in Hershey, Pennsylvania, the Hershey Spa for a little getaway. Came home, went to DC to see a Darren Criss concert. One of my daughters took her. Then came home, worked. Then went to the DC Defenders event. Switched plans. We were gonna have friends over that night, and we were like, hey, we got to switch this because we got to do the DC Defenders thing. So it was a crazy week, and now almost done with this week. Got one more event tomorrow, not XFL related, family stuff. Going to see Pentatonics in Hershey, and then things will chill, and then we got holidays, people come in, and all that kind of good stuff. So I appreciate the staff was great, and I'm just telling you, I don't know where you were at in any of your events, but in DC, fans are pumped. They all talked about the beer snake. It was just a great time. All right, let's get to. Are we going to get to our questions here? Let's hit the questions on. I just get this stupid keyframe error that I'm getting. I hope the stream is all right. But make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. We always appreciate that. Damon says, go Orlando. Kenan says, any news on the Alumni Academy? Still no word about that. I still think that they'll work things out. We had Mike Mitchell on last week. They're going to work things out. I'm fairly certain about that. Charlie says, do you know where the Vegas Vipers will be playing? Here's a little thing I'll put out there. There is rumblings that it was Cashman Fields. There's rumblings that it was a potential high school field. That's been out there. There's also been rumblings that the delay was not caused by the stadium in Vegas issue, but more of potential MLS and other sports people getting their schedules together, because some of these stadiums share space with others. And so kind of that also is a factor. So us sitting here saying blame Vegas, which, I mean, if you got the Vegas stadium, you drop it because you've got, you can start. We don't have the schedule yet. We have our stadiums. But I keep hearing that Vegas is a done deal wherever it is, and it's just finalizing it. And I don't know. Maybe I'm hopeful that if we may get something. Remember, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the cadence when XFL news kind of drops, because they don't want to, with Monday Night Football, and Tuesday after Monday Night Football, and especially now that the playoffs going. If we're going to get some kind of announcement, it's going to be this Wednesday. If we don't get anything this Wednesday, then I don't think we'll get anything until next Wednesday. It would have to be at the latest next Wednesday, because teams are heading to stay, going to play somewhere, and you got to start selling tickets, because that's holding everything up. It's like we want to sell tickets, but we can't because we don't have a schedule, and we don't have a schedule because Vegas doesn't have a stadium yet. So John says, hi. Imperial says, could we potentially see a spring bowl between the XFL and USFL champions? No, because they play at different times. Reels and Heels, the Vipers will play on the 215 Beltway. And he says, Jordan Tamu will play in Arlington. Pairing Bob Stoops with Jordan Tamu. I have no knowledge, but I have a feel. I just have a hunch that it could be Jordan Ta'amu in DC. I don't know. That's not like confirmed 100% or any of that kind of stuff, but just the kind of vibe I'm getting. I'll just leave it at that. All right, let's get to some of your social media stuff. We'll wrap it up so you can watch some Monday Night Football. Question of the week, do you plan on going into any XFL events in your area? Let us know in the chat room. John says, yes, I do. I'm going to do a Renegades game. I would like to see a game in San Antonio and Houston. That's hardcore. John, hardcore. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. And I would love to get back to my Ravens season ticket holder person that I used to be and compare the two. I just remember the last iteration. I mean, you got up and close with the players and everybody had a great time. And it's funny, I'll also tell you this, that as soon as, and I was like, well, are these people in here watching? There was a hockey game on, or there was other sporting events going on. It was Thursday night football was actually on. I was like, are these people here are they here to watch a sports? Or are they here for the DC Defenders? They were there for the DC Defenders because as soon as the event was over, they gave away prizes. My wife won a shirt. So she was happy about that. Got free like glasses, plastic. They were Heineken was sponsored the event, so Heineken. Everybody got Heineken glasses. It was cool. But as soon as the event was over, the place cleared out, and I was like, that proves you right there that everybody was there for the DC Defenders, and it was not an easy thing to get to. And it's a Thursday night, just before the holidays. I'll be real interested to see how the DC does when they have other events as we get closer to the season. On to Jordan Ta'amu being spotted in Arlington. Kyvin says, hope he comes to St. Louis. He will not. Kenneth, he's going to Arlington with Hayes. I'm going to say DC. St. Louis is his home, but either way, glad to have him back. He'll get a nice cheer, especially in St. Louis if he's playing for somewhere. He might be coming back to St. Louis. I thought I saw that St. Louis had all their quarterbacks. And then this is a post that I posted there about the event that we went to. Van says, jerseys and helmets. Yes, they showed the jersey. I don't remember if I saw a helmet. I should have taken an up-closer picture, but I don't think they showed the helmet. They just showed the jerseys. John says, nice to see fan events. Vegas has done nothing. No stadium won't answer the phone calls. I'm really pissed off. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all, my friend. It's, it's got to be this Wednesday. It's got to be. You got to drop it before the holidays, man. You can't go a week out from training camp to be like, oh, hey, let's, here's where you're going to be playing your games. I mean, I don't know the area. I don't know if like this high school, but those are the two. It's Cashman. There's the high school, something about a high school, rumblings that it might be more towards the high school. Who knows? Who knows? Let's go on to the YouTubes. Hearns9683 says, I'd rather have Vegas play in an empty stadium, Texas stadium, than a high school. Also interesting, Generals players aren't happy with the hubs, especially with the Generals GM saying they've retained over 80% of their roster for re-signing for season 2. Quell Glass to New Orleans Breakers. I think this was his comment about the hubs. That was different because now things have kind of changed with the, I think people are happy with, it'll be interesting to see how many USFL players make the jump to the XFL. If it's as much as we thought, but now that they kind of have a collective bargaining agreement, could that change? Texas Flag Football says, listened on Tuesday, very distorted. We were having all sorts of issues, so I'm not really sure what that was about. Breddy's Sports 6-1, bunch of numbers. Brahma's uniforms are so overrated. What? What are you talking about? Brahma's uniforms are legit. Bretzy Books 6260. You're overrated. What do you think about that? I liked them. I thought they were great. Those were our favorites. So on the Twitter, so I had a chance to hear Erica Molman. She is the XFL Chief Revenue Officer. Remember, she's got a position with the XFL, then kind of moved over to a different position. She did a luncheon at for this NFL because she used to work in Canton, Ohio. Love Canton, Ohio. Shout out to Spartan Steaks in Canton, Ohio. I will always shout out to them. She was there for an event and a luncheon, and she was talking about the XFL. People were asking her questions. So it was just kind of her background and how she went from somebody from the area to getting involved with sports. It's very interesting. It's about an hour-long talk. Very interesting. But there were some questions that were asked, and one of them was talking about the XFL expansion, and she mentioned that Mexico is part of an eventual plan. Now, XFL/USFL Greg says, I got it. It's going to be the Mexico City Vipers. Funny. Insider says, how about a Vegas announcement? That's way cooler than future expansion. Remember, she was answering the questions. No one asked about Vegas. I just want to point out. And then Mac says, ha, ha, for sure. So remember, this was something that Mike Mitchell had pointed out a long time ago, that they were talking Mexico. So this just kind of confirms that is in the cards, and that's something that they are interested in doing, is to eventually expand to have a team in Mexico. But that is and even she said, that is down the road, not anytime soon, but it's something that they have definitely seen for the future. Also, what she mentioned in her talk when they were talking about the schedule, they did mention, she said that you could see, based on what they're working on now, is some Thursday or Friday games sprinkled in, but mostly Saturday and Sunday games, just like was before. And then, of course, we got nice to see the schedule. Yeah, schedule to help buy tickets. But again, she was answering the question. Settle down. She was just answering the question. But I thought that was interesting, that Thursday or Friday games. She also mentioned, what was the other thing? About the schedule. Of dealing with March Madness, that they're working with Disney and seeing what the March Madness schedule is to try to fit some things in there to kind of, because we never got March Madness per se and the XFL because everything, went to, so we never really got that big crossover. So they're trying to figure out where they could place games. I mean, you're going to have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday games constantly going on. So, they're going to try to see if they can position some of those games during March Madness. She also mentions that FX is trying to become more of a sports channel, which I thought was interesting, but that they wanted to move towards, they really wanted to get most of their games on ABC and ESPN mostly ABC. And I agree with that because for us, goes back with the whole thing with the CFL. They don't have games on their ABC, which is CTV, but CTV has NFL games. Like, it is critical. And the question was asked about streaming services, and she made the point that it's better to have these games on ABC right now than having behind a streaming service, because you're trying to get fans interested, and they need that, their games need to be accessible. Now, everybody and their uncle has got Netflix. So, but I think it makes sense, at least for the first year or two, will it come on Disney Plus at some point? I mean, you got ESPN, so it'll be on there, but it makes sense. So that was a couple of interesting points which you talked about the schedule, but Thursday or Friday night games would be great. I don't remember if the old schedule had that, but I knew they were trying to get there, or we didn't hit those dates or something like that. So that was that. And of course, our question of the week about, going to an event. At King Marvez says, I went to all 3 San Antonio events. Very cool. That's very cool. I'm glad. You're definitely going to get more connected with the brand as you be able to go to events. All right, final stuff up. Remember to check out our new News Hub Fantasy Football. It's cut off here because of the screen. Leagues are joining now if you want to play fantasy football, so make sure head over to News Hub Fantasy. Also, our fantasy football. Look at this. Look at this. I lost by less than a point to Slob on my Cobb. So, I mean, didn't have a chance for the playoffs. This is our listener league for NFL. We'll be doing DFS. We'll be doing fantasy football, and we'll have leagues with you guys as well. But it was Pat Firemuth. Got me 0 points, and that's what screwed me. So it's not a good season for me in the fan league. I made the playoffs in my other league of record, the money league. This one, I did not do well in. My other league, I did better in. But yeah, you could see me 8th place there. I'll probably be 5-10. Not a very good team. Just didn't make it. But hey, what can you do? I mean, I had to go with David Carr. Because what's his name? Tore his ACL. He was out for the season. Mike Evans kind of had a bad season. Mike Williams has been hurt. McCaffrey's been great. Kamara is not as good as he used to be. Thielen was decent. And then, Walker was good for a little while there. Brown did nothing. If I had put Zay Jones in from Jacksonville, I would have done well. And yeah, I was desperate. I had to grab Watson. So there you have it there, my friends. All right, my friends. Let's see. One last check in the chat room. See what's going on there. Oh, yeah, we got a lot of people. On Facebook, Jimmy says, Renegades rock. Number one Renegade fan here. All right, well, I'll tell you what, number one Renegade fan, you're not getting our man, Tamo. I think he's coming to D.C. Philip says, where's Alf? Oh, I believe Houston. Alf? It's right over here. You can't see my Alf picture. I moved it over. But I have an Alf picture right over there. And my Alf stuffed animal I have to find somewhere. I'll have to get him out. Do I have an Alf over here? Nope. But my Alf picture is over there. Once we redesign the studio, which I'm working on, that's coming soon in the future, then all this kind of stuff. But I'll have Alf present there. Philip says, I believe Houston versus Dallas was supposed to be on Thursday. I think you're right. Kazma624 said XFL should do games in MLS venues or big high school stadiums for full optics and a more cozy atmosphere. I mean, that's why they're talking about the high school. I mean, the MLS stadium in DC was fantastic. You got the Dome in St. Louis and San Antonio. You've got the ball field, which is the Arlington Stadium, I believe, is also where they play MLS soccer. So that's 2 of them. Let's see. Camping World, I think is, I don't know. I don't know if MLS teams play Camping World. That I don't know. So that's DC. And then Seattle, of course, is an NFL stadium. I think I got everybody. Vegas, we don't know about. So you can kind of see that, at least 2 of them, I think, if not 3 of them, have some kind of MLS component to it, which could be delaying things. But then you just go up to the MLS people, be like, yo, tell us what's going on. So the MLS schedule is supposed to come out tomorrow. He says Kazma says FC Dallas has its own stadium. MLS has their own stadium in Orlando. So it's really, the DC is the only one. So, but it was something that I was hearing, so I just kind of figured I'd throw it out there. But I've if we don't get anything by Wednesday, it's definitely not till Wednesday of next week. And if we don't get it by Wednesday of next week, it's not a good look, boys and girls. It's not a good look for the XFL. But, this is price you pay. Getting contracts, and I've heard this from multiple leagues and multiple people, trying to secure these deals in these home locations, whether it's the USFL or XFL, is a difficult task. It's a monumental task. And I heard, actually, even in the 2.0 era, that Oliver Luck announced stuff before deals were even signed, which was kind of one of the first things that pissed Vince McMahon off. I've heard that one as well. All right, my friends. And Kazman says, love the show, by the way. Thank you very much. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And Reels and Heels says, Las Vegas is supposed to have an MLS stadium in 2024. So maybe hey, if they can play, one high school season there in a high school, so what? Then play in the MLS stadium. Interesting. We'll find out. Just stay tuned to XFL News Hub and, of course, Mike Mitchell, as always. And remember, if you want to be part of the show, email podcast at XFL News Hub or leave a voicemail 888-430-7692 extension 3. And also, always, as always, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We always appreciate that. Hey, guess what? There I am. It's Christmas time. All right. Remember what we were celebrating at 4. This is about family, and it's about, giving to others. It's a good season, and, God is good. God's been good to me. Hope he's been good to you. 2023 is going to be a crazy year. So enjoy the Christmas Hanukkah season. Hanukkah, I believe, started yesterday. So enjoy the holidays. Chill out with your family. Enjoy some NFL games. Then we'll be back next week. I assume I'm going to be live. I don't see why. I think I might have. I don't even know if I have off or whatever. But we will have a great time, and we're getting closer, my friends. Because really, here's the crazy part. If you think about it, you look at the schedule. Okay, you have Santa comes to town on Sunday. Santa comes to town, not your parents putting a thing, nothing like that. Santa comes to town on the 25th. The week after that is New Year's. 2 days after New Year's, XFL and players are going to be heading to Arlington, Texas. We should have a supplemental draft either on that Monday or Tuesday. Players, I think, might report on the 4th. I'm not really sure. For 3rd, 4th, something like that. So that Monday or Tuesday, we could get a supplemental draft. I would assume Tuesday would be the day. Well, New Year's Eve is the 31st. And then January 1st. So we're going to have one more episode for 2022. And we close out what's been a crazy long waiting year of episodes of what are we going to talk about to the last episode of the year. And then the season begins, my friends. They will be in training camp in Arlington, Texas. Are you excited? I'm excited. All right, that's it for me, folks. God bless as always. Enjoy your Christmas time, Hanukkah, holidays with your families. Thank you, and I appreciate you guys for being on the show, hanging out with me and supporting the show. Really appreciate it. That's it for me, folks. God bless as always, and I will see you all later for one more show this year.